Use Ant's Memory Profiler to understand where your memory is going and to locate memory leaks within minutes. Take snapshots of the heap memory and compare results and analyze differences using this summary screen and the class list. Pick a class, then an object. Finally, create an object retention graph to see what's holding your object in memory. Click on the link below this video to download your free trial of Ant's Memory Profiler.
Hi guys, this is Alex Pedenko, one of the authors of NDjango, and today we'll show you how to use NDjango as a view engine for asp.mvc. What we're going to do is we'll start off on the NDjango homepage. We're going to go to the downloads page. We're going to grab the MSI. Now notice that we've got both the MSI and the binary. So the MSI is just if you want to set it up, and the main difference is that the MSI will actually give you Visual Studio templates. So we'll go with that for today. I'm going to hit that. And instead of actually downloading, I'll just pull it from my downloaded list so we don't have to wait for them to come down. Set that up. Kick this off. Okay, that's there. Now we'll bring up Visual Studio. And what we'll do is we'll set up we'll just use the sample application that asp.mvc comes with. So we'll go ahead and set up a new project. asp.mvc web app. Just drop it somewhere. Run through that. And there we go. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is we need to add our references. So we'll bring that up. Browse to where we installed it, which by default is program files. I've got a 64-bit machine, so it'll be an x86 under Hill 30 and Django. And let's take a look at what we've got here. The DLLs that we need are the integration DLL, the core, and the filters. Now these other ones, the F# DLLs, will come along on their own. And the Bistro integration DLL is if you're using the Bistro MVC framework. So we'll just add those three. Okay, that's done. Now the only other thing we have to do is modify our global. So what we'll do here is we'll add a new protected member called an NDjango handle. Solve that. Okay. And that's it there. And then we'll add a new constructor for our application class. And all we'll do here is we'll instantiate the handle and pass in us. Okay, now the reason this is a constructor as opposed to the application start is that we need each instance of the application object to have an instance of the Django handle. This helps with some of the multi-threading optimizations that happen behind the scenes. Okay, so we've got that, but before we go on, let's run through the application as it was before. So let me comment this out. Bring this up, see what it looked like, turn on debugging. There we have it. Alright, so we've got the home page, which is alias to the slash. We've got the about page, which is alias to home about. Click that, that happens. If I click that, that happens. Alright, great. So let's close that up. Let's put our changes back in, and what we'll do is we'll convert a couple of the pages that are in here to Django templates. So we'll start off with the master page. Now Django doesn't have the concept of master pages, but they do have the concept of template inheritance, so we can still have the equivalent of a master page. So what I'll do is I'll add a new item. Now if you did install the MSI, you will have an NDjango template option under My Templates. If not, you can just add an HTML file and rename it to .django. And I'll call this my base.django. Alright, and then I'll go ahead and I'll steal from the master page. Drop that in here, and we'll just go through and replace components one by one. So first of all, the directive goes away. We don't need that anymore. Now, the way Django handles content areas and the like is through block tags. So we'll replace this content placeholder with a block tag called title. and it's got no content, so we'll just close it out and get rid of this guy. We'll leave the style sheet as it is. We'll leave the rest of this as it is. We'll take off this guy for now. And then the other two things we've got are the main content area and the links. Now, the links in Django are handled through a framework-specific implementation of the URL tag. So the way that works is we have to write out the link by hand, but the URL itself will come in from the URL tag, which takes the action name as the first parameter, which is index, and the controller name is the second parameter, which is home. Okay, so that's that. Close that out, close that out. That will be home. And then we need to do something similar for about. It will be about home, and this will be about. Okay, that's done. Let's get rid of this. And then finally, we've got the main content area, which will be replaced by a block tag called main. Okay, so that's that. All right. Next, we'll go in, and for the purposes of this demo, we'll leave the logon control and we'll leave all the account stuff, but we will convert the about and the index. So index is fairly straightforward. We'll go ahead and add a new Django template for that. And we'll call it index for consistency. Okay. And again, we'll go in here, we'll steal the content, drop it in here. Now, like I said, Django has the concept of template inheritance instead of master pages. So what you do is you specify that this specific template extends the base template. So we need to specify the path to it, and the way you do that is through a application root relative URL, or rather path, which will be under views, shared, and base.django. Now, you have to be careful here, because if you specify a leading slash, this will actually complain at you and try to resolve the template relative to the drive root. So for me, this would come up as C: views, etc. So you do want this to be without the leading slash. Close that out. Get rid of this guy. Now remember, we added a block tag called title. So we'll add that here, and this is how you tell the runtime, or the parser rather, to put in content for the blocks defined up top. So we'll add a block tag called title. We'll put this content here, and this goes away. Okay, and then the other one was the main tag, which is another block called main. Close that out, and then bring this across and get rid of that. Okay, now the final thing we've got in here is we're pulling from the view data. Now the way you do that in a Django is you just use the variable syntax, which is just 2 curly braces. So this will look like that. Now we'll come back to this HTML and code. Okay, so let's get rid of that. And we're done here. Now let's do the same thing for the about page. Again, add about.django. And this time we'll just steal the content from here. Oops. Steal the content from here. Because the about page is a bit more straightforward. Steal this. That goes here. And then this just says about us. Okay, and that just about does it. So let's take a look and see what we broke. Let's run that. And there you go. Okay, so home is rendered as home, or just the slash. About is rendered as home about. If I click that, that happens. If I click this, this happens. And everything is wonderful. So let's make a few tweaks just to show you that I'm not trying to pull one over your eyes. Let's modify this template to, well, let's modify the index template. This will be message and Django. And there we go. Okay, now the final thing is, I said I'd mention the encoding. The way helpers are applied is through effectively filters for the most part. Now, HTML escaping, which is what the previous command was doing, this guy right here, is done automatically in NDjango. But if you wanted to do it explicitly, you would do it through an escape filter, like so. And there you go. So that's about it. Now, if you want to learn more about NDjango, you can go to the Django homepage, which is here. And here you can find documentation about the tags and how they compare to NDjango. And you can go to see which ones have been implemented, along with documentation pointing to their counterparts. And the same thing for filters. As you can see, a majority have been implemented, and the ones that have not have at least some explanation.